10th, the Mets will take on the evil empire Clearwater Threshers in a battle to control the galaxy known as the Florida State League. The Mets will wear their special Star Wars-themed jerseys, and there will be other Star Wars-themed entertainment through the game. Enjoy appearances from Star Wars characters and the best fireworks show in the galaxy after the game. That's Star Wars Night on Saturday, May 10th at Clover Park.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Trailing by 7+ in the final minute of fourth quarter and overtime in the postseason of the NBA. 7+. The record is 3 and 1,640. 3 wins, 1,640 losses. The Pacers have 2 of them in the last 3 games. 2 of them in the last 3 games. As bad of a loss as you could find. You're a Cleveland fan. Luckily, we have one right here. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. NBA playoffs has been absolutely outstanding. All 4 road teams won in the first game of the second round. First time in NBA history that has happened. Every game has mostly been exciting down to the wire. A lot of comebacks. Most notably, we'll start with what happened in Indiana or in Cleveland with Indiana and Tyrese Halliburton, a game-winning 3 with about 3 seconds to go. Cleveland up 7, 119, 112 with about 47 seconds to go. 2 turnovers. A putback dunk. Tyrese Halliburton gets to the line, makes the first free throw, misses the second, gets his own rebound. Step back 3 to win it all in dramatic fashion as the Indiana Pacers go up 2-0. Mike, what was your reaction to that?
I feel like I should be wearing a dunce cap today. You know what I mean? When you put someone in the corner and you put the dunce cap on. I've never seen it before. Can we agree on that?
That was as bad of a loss, I think, as I've ever seen in the postseason. I thought the Bucks loss was bad. That was worse last night.
Can we agree we've never seen something like that? For everything to happen the way it did, I say it's so Cleveland because, that's what we are at this point. We blow things, we're cursed, whatever you want to call it. But I'm looking at Garland not playing. I'm looking at Mobley not playing. I'm looking at Hunter not playing. Colin, I got to realize something. It's no longer 1985. It's no longer 1995. I'm going to even take it a step further. It's no longer the basketball that I watched growing up in the early 2000s and the 2010s. If these guys have a hangnail, they're not going to play. It just is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and be the guy of, they should have played this and that. In my mind, in a must-win game, yeah, I probably think they should have played. But at the same time, I'm not a professional athlete. So I'm not going to sit here and be the guy today, shame on them for not playing. Am I upset? Hell yeah, I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm angry those guys didn't play. But if they weren't good enough to go, if they didn't think they're good enough to go, who the hell am I to say that they should have played? But the guys I grew up watching, the Kobes, the LeBrons, the Duncans, their shoulder would have had to been separated in a cast not to play. With that said, Donovan Mitchell had a great game. Donovan Mitchell did everything he could. And I think we found out, Colin, Donovan Mitchell has some kind of injury as well because he played 37 minutes and he couldn't even walk. Now, they said on the broadcast, and I tend to agree, that they were dog ears because he was getting pummeled every time he was going to him. He couldn't shoot. Colin, if 2 of his threes go in, this isn't a game. So poor guy couldn't shoot. But he did everything in his power for the Cavs to win, and it wasn't enough. You can't rely on Ty Jerome to start. By the way,
awful in the game. Awful in the game.
1 for 14 was even. He was
awful in the game.
Terrible offensively, even worse defensively. Those guards for Indiana did absolutely anything they wanted late in that game. And you mentioned it in the Bucks series. That team don't go away, bro. Pacers don't go away. And you saw that in the fourth quarter when the Cavs started 0 for 6 and had 4 turnovers within the first 3.5, 4 minutes of the quarter. Fair play to Rick Carlisle. And how about Halliburton? What kind of crow do I have to eat? My God, is that kid good? I'd trade Mobley and Garland for him tomorrow. I would trade Mobley and Garland for that kid tomorrow. He hurt his wrist. Kyle, did he come out of the game? Did Tyrese Halliburton probably sprained his wrist in the game? Did he come out of the game? Oh, no. He kicked your ass late in the game and hit the game-winning shot. One of the worst losses I've ever seen, Kyle. Just another chapter of misery for that city. And at this point at 0-2, you're cooked. I don't want to come back. Come back and win this series. I had to listen to garbage in Cleveland this morning.
It's one thing being down 2-0 going back to your home court. This is not that.
People actually think they're going to win this in 7? Did you see how that Indiana team played? Is Donovan Mitchell even going to be available? Are the 3 Stooges going to get out of their street clothes and suit up? Win this series. You'll be lucky not to get swept. Thank you, Colin.
I completely agree with you. If on the guys not playing, Hunter with the thumb injury and Garland with the toe injury, you're down 1-0 in your building. And listen, for lack of a better term, Cleveland should have won this game. Indiana had no business by any stretch winning this game. None. Cleveland outplayed them. It was Mitchell, heroics.
He was unbelievable.
They just didn't go away. They didn't die. You got to kill them 1,000 times to get rid of them. And you needed 48 points out of Donovan Mitchell and a whole bunch of heroics. And then at the end of the game, when Indiana comes knocking and all of a sudden crucial possession here, crucial possession there, chanting overrated at Tyrese Halliburton when he's at the free throw line, you even had Donovan Mitchell telling the crowd to keep it down. Keep it down. Don't do that. Because there's something to that. The guy is unbelievable in a close situation. He has been doing it time and time again, closing games. And I got to give Indiana all the credit in the world. They had no business winning that game. They stole it, now up 2-0. Cavaliers better get healthy fast. They better get healthy fast and have their best game of the season in Game 3. Because it's a little embarrassing. Indiana's good. Indiana's better than the record shows, and they're better than everybody gives them credit for. But if you're Cleveland there, I know you were banged up, but they got playing on Friday is their next ones. They got 2 days rest going back to Indiana. That needs to be the best game of the season. That needs to be the best game of the season. And Indiana's going to play hard because they want to close them out. They don't even want to give you a smidge of any sort of, what's the word? Life. They don't want to give you a breath of life. They're going to play really hard that game.
Up 7, Kyle, 40 seconds. You must find a way to win the game. Colin, to let everybody in on something, for those of you who don't listen to Colin and I every day, Colin and I had a youth basketball team. We loved coaching. We had a great time. At the end of that game, it was reminiscent of Colin and I's youth basketball team when someone would slap a press on us. I have never seen incompetence at inbounding a ball like I did last night by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once it got inbounded as well, there was one ball handler on the court all last night. I think Rick Carlisle in Indiana are a little ticked off that they didn't start pressing earlier because Merrill can't dribble and Strus can't dribble. Once they shut down Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt, there were no other ball handlers, and they went on, an 8-0 run, 9-0 run to win the game with the Halliburton 3. I've never seen incompetence like that out of an inbound play. Everything needed to happen the way it did in order for Indiana to win the game, and you have to give them I got to give them their flowers, Colin. I do. And I don't see a world where this isn't 3-1. All right, How about this? I'll give the Cavs winning a game in Indiana. Fine. I don't see a world where they win 2 straight in Indiana, whose home crowd is going to be all pumped up. You said that, that's been a team that's been starving for something recently. Those fans are going to be ready to rock, man.
Well, they want to close them out. They didn't want to close them out.
They're going to be ready to rock. So let's get winning 2 straight out. They're not winning 2 straight. And the injury thing is probably the most important part. Take home court aside. Take winning 2 games in Cleveland aside. Garland, Mobley, and Hunter being in street clothes. And Garland, Colin, doing a full practice. He went through a full practice and didn't play.
Yeah, you got to play.
You got to play. And we do have, I want to play this sound from Stephen A. Smith because I mentioned my gripes with Garland. I have gripes with all 3 of them that didn't play regardless. Let's take a listen to Stephen A. Smith talk about Darius Garland not playing in this game.
Darius Garland, listen, a toe injury is significant, could be very painful. I understand that. As far as I'm concerned, you got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to be damn near crippled if you can't play. You got to find a way to get out there. Because last night, Nembhard and Halliburton combined for 45 points, like 19 assists, and 1 turnover. They're getting guard play in Indiana. Donovan Mitchell needs help, period. Because whether it's Ty Jerome, whether it's Strus or somebody else, I mean, listen, they're not point guards, okay? He needs some help in that backcourt. Now, you missed 4 straight games, Darius Garland. I mean, damn, you got all off season to heal. Somehow, some way, I mean, you're on the brink of elimination. I mean, you got to get out there. You got to find a way. Limp your ass out there no matter which way you got to do it. I don't give a damn, all right? Find a way. Find a way. Pad the toe, wear an extra size shoe. Do something. But you got to get out there. You got to get out there.
Kyle, I know this isn't Kevin McHale playing on a broken foot anymore. And I'm sure Kevin McHale, at this point, if he'd had to do it again, he probably wouldn't do it. It's not the 90s. It's not the basketball I grew up with in the 2000s. But, man, have some pride, dude. In a must-win game. In a must-win game, you're not going to suit up. Come on, man. Meet me halfway here. And he's right. Those guards did anything they wanted. Even when it was 18 points, you never felt comfortable.
They don't need this. He scored 11 of his 19 points in the fourth quarter, Halliburton. He doesn't need, and they didn't play well offensively for the most part of the game. They were getting defensive adjustments to start the game. Mike texted me about it. Kenny Atkinson did a great job, and they were trying to level every run, every chance that the Pacers got. Stop the game. Try to kill a run. Try to stop the bleed. And they still rumbled back into the game in that second half.
Yeah, and you got big game from Strus. You got role player Merrill a couple of threes and an over 40-point performance for Donovan Mitchell.
Points.
That's a game you got to win, man. You're up 7 with 40 seconds to go. Colin, that's Reggie Miller-esque. This Halliburton is reminiscent of the great Reggie Miller. That is Reggie getting offensive rebounds. Can I complain about something else, too? How the hell was it that a lane violation?
They don't call that in the NBA.
My God, they're just allowed to do that?
They don't call that in the NBA.
Oh, my God.
They don't call that in the NBA.
I was screaming at the team. And listen, I didn't want to make excuses for a terrible loss like that. I do have to say, I thought that was a bit Bush League. But if they don't call it, they don't call it. A lot of people were hitting me up about that. I didn't have an answer for them.
They wouldn't call that. They wouldn't call that at the beginning of the game. They're not going to call it at the end of the game.
Jared Allen's got to get a rebound there late in the game. You're 7 foot. Brother, you're 7 foot. I'm going to need you to... Can you jump off the ground and try to get the rebound? Can someone block the shooter out? We were blocking the shooter out at the JCC. This is the NBA. Box him out.
Funny part is Indiana had 18 turnovers, and they still couldn't capitalize.
Colin, they beat us the last 40 seconds of the game.
Yeah, they didn't lead for a second in this game until the last minute. They got dominated throughout. But you let that team breathe. That's such a demoralizing loss. I tend to agree with Mike. I'd have a hard time seeing Cleveland rumble back in this.
Like, you agree with me that it's a hard time seeing it. Not if they win a game, fine. They'll probably win a game. It'll be 3-1 heading back to Cleveland. And guess what? LeBron James, circa 2016, Kyrie Irving, circa 2016, aren't walking through that door to go 45 and 45 in Game 5.
They'd have to collapse. Granted, 2 of those games would be in Cleveland. Just keep that in mind. But, yeah, that is a tricky spot. If you're the plan of Cleveland, you got to win 2 straight. You need to have your best game of the season on Friday in Game 3.
And not have guys in street clothes and bank on Donovan Mitchell being available for the game after he literally left everything out there in Game 2.
Yeah, he was beat up. If I'm Indiana, I am really trying to close that team out in Game 3. And they play hard every game. That's what you need out of Indiana. You need 48 minutes of really aggressive and really hard-working, leave it all out there basketball. That's the only way to beat Indiana. Because Indiana, they might be the best team in the league in terms of effort. Effort. 1 through 9, however deep they go. That is effort. They are waves of pressure continuously. They get steals, timely steals. They hit timely shots. They move the ball. Halliburton is the most clutch player in the league at the moment.
They want Mobley and Garland. Can we make that trade mid-series? They want Mobley and Garland?
Yeah, he's more clutch than Brunson. That's where we're at with Halliburton. He's unbelievable. And he doesn't even need to score to dominate. He's a playmaker at first. And he's still willing to close games. That's as bad of a loss as I've ever seen in an NBA playoff game. Now, it's not consequential to the sake that Cleveland's completely dead in the series. They're not. But that is a demoralizing loss. You're going to learn a lot about Cleveland in Game 3.
You don't think they're dead?
No. Unfortunately, I don't. Listen, I get it, but if all it takes is Game 3.
Show me on hope.
They win Game 3, then all of a sudden Game 4 is a very interesting game. So it's not like, Cleveland playing healthy 5 days from now. All you got to do is win Game 3. You fall down 3-0, you're dead.
My biggest thing is the health card.
Yeah.
You and our good
buddy. Who's going to be playing?
Joe Fortenbaugh, when we interviewed him yesterday, he said the same thing. I should have listened. I should have known that, the street clothes gang wasn't going to play last night.
You got to play in that game.
Oh.
Unless you can't move, you got to play in that game. And because if you see Mitchell out there who is writhing on the floor every other possession in the fourth quarter, you got to go play.
With Ty Jerome and Sam Merrill.
The thing is, if they escape that game, you'd be sigh of relief. Oh, thank God we didn't play them. Now everybody could be healthy for Game 3.
Exactly.
But the fact that you didn't and you blew the game makes Game 3, all three of them have to play.
Strus's 3 to go up 7, Colin. I'm like, oh, thank God. Finally.
Well, Strus had that
awful turnover.
It was 27 seconds to go.
He was.
Oh my God! And they advanced. Oh my God! Terrible.
They advanced the ball too. It wasn't under the hoop on Indiana's side. It was at half court. You can't let that happen at half court.
As bad as it gets.
That's why I said, Kyle, it was our team at the JCC last night. The Cavs and our team at the JCC in Palm Beach Gardens switched places.
Unbelievable. That was a terrible, terrible play. Gary Trent had 40 points in the game that they blew to Indiana to lose the series when Halliburton closed it out, and Gary Trent had those 2 terrible turnovers.
Yep.
He had 40 points and 3 threes in overtime to offset that. That was not Strus. Oh, my God. They were terrible. That is as bad of a loss situationally. Milwaukee was dead in the series. They were dead. That was just a bad little nail in the coffin. This is an important game for Cleveland that they lost. Game 3 is going to be extremely important. And if I'm Indiana, I'd expect a big effort. Some games are bigger than others. The Warriors against the T-Wolves in Game 2, I'd expect the T-Wolves to win that by 38 points.
You think in Game 3, Kyle, the Cavs, after they lost how they did last night, you think they're going to show some fight?
They have to.
You think they're going to show some fight?
They have to. I think you got to get guys healthy, and you got to have your best game of the season. We're going to talk to the Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager on the flip side of things. Do a little Ask the AD. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat taking a time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE. In office, West Palm Beach.
Progressive knows there are 2 things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
This Mother's Day, give Mom a gift with endless possibilities. Give her a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. The Breakers gift card lets you treat Mom to all the things she loves, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. You can never repay Mom for all she's done, but a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach is a great way to start. Visit thebreakers.com today.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A May 7th edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, 2025. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. On your radio dial at ESPN 106.3, also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. It's a beautiful midweek here in South Florida, getting a little hotter. Well, let's loop in one of our good buddies of the program, Mr. Chris Swagger. It's time for us to ask the AD with Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swagger.
It's time to ask the AD. Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swagger joins Russo and Rizzo to talk all things college sports, the latest on Kaiser athletics and more. Ask the AD is presented by Kaiser Seahawks Athletics. Learn more at KUSeahawks.com.
Ask the AD. We got Chris Swagger in the house joining us live. Chris, it's been a bit. How you doing? What's going on?
Good. Just busy time of the year for us.
Busy time of the year for Kaiser Athletics. Give us the rundown really quick. What's going on on the playoff side of
So
things?
we wrapped up conference championships last week. So men's lacrosse, men's tennis, women's tennis, flag football, men's golf, women's golf all won conference championships.
Oh, wow.
So they're all qualified for postseason.
Do you even feel anything after that anymore? Do you feel happy? Is it like...
My coach would just say no. I think it's kind of like I don't congratulate someone for getting dressed and showing up to work in the morning. That's your
what
job.
I'm saying. Yeah, right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
It's another Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but it's great. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's amazing just because kids work hard. They get to see.
You won national championships. That's what it is.
No, but I'm saying I want the work to pay off. So I think they put in the work, they see it, and they get to compete. So that's great. Baseball and softball have their selection shows today, so we're expecting at-large bids for both of them. And then track and field actually have a last chance meet this week up at West Point and trying to get a few more qualifiers. So as long as baseball and softball get in like we expect, it would actually be the first time that we've had all of our spring sports qualify for national championships. So
wow.
That's awesome.
Everyone will get in, hopefully.
And you're at 24 national championships in your tenure as athletic director of Kaiser University, and you're hoping to get 30 is a safe number, I feel like. Maybe 28, 29?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get at least 3 more this spring. Would be nice.
Absolutely.
So,
you say
stacking up the hardware.
Now, Chris, you say 3 more. Who's the 3 you have in mind? Because certainly there are a couple of favorite golden childs among the bunch.
There's no golden child. It's like my kids, man. I don't have a favorite. It just depends on how they're treating me day to day. I mean, I would say we've got
flag football's right in the mix right now.
Flag football. So I mean, basically, men's lacrosse went into the tournament as the 1 seed. men's and women's tennis are one's the 1 seed, one's the 3 seed. Flag football is, I think, the 2 seed. Men's and women's golf are both top 3. Nice. So all of them have a chance to be in the mix, obviously, based off their standings. Track and field, we definitely have a couple people who can potentially win some individuals. I don't think we'll have enough qualifiers as a team to get a team score. And then baseball, softball, you never know. Those are tough. You got regionals, double elimination. I mean, like any level of college baseball, softball, you lose day one, you're kind of up against it with pitching. So that's always a tough one.
Right. Chris, God forbid you ever have to deal with self-imposing some sanctions on coaches for violations of any sort.
I've had to do it before.
You've had to do it before. Yes. So I'm curious on your perspective versus what University of Michigan recently did. Sharon Moore, who is the head coach of University of Michigan, was on the staff, of course, when Harbaugh was there, and the Connor Stallions, the stealing signs and stealing signals gate and the whole thing.
Which everyone does.
Which everybody does. But Michigan just got caught for it.
No. They had guys on sidelines for opposing team posing as coaches, guys. This is...
according to the documentary, he said it wasn't him, but...
Right. According to the documentary that he probably executive produced, but I understand. I understand. Sharon Moore, the head coach of Michigan, Michigan is imposing a ban. And the funny part is it's 2 games. But it's not game 1 and 2. It's not week 1 and 2. It's week 3 and 4. Week 1 and 2, they have New Mexico at home. And week 2, they're at Oklahoma, which is where Sharon Moore went to school. And then week 3, they got Central Michigan. And week 4, they got Nebraska. So an easier set of games. When you have had to self-impose bans, did you take into account what games we are suspending said coach for?
No, I find it kind of weird that he's coaching New Mexico State and not Nebraska. That's a little bit.
Well, you can't do. Suspend. I think the idea is they want to be there for Oklahoma because they're at Oklahoma.
Yeah, you could do games 2 and 3, not
2 and 4. I don't think you can.
You got to do them in a row. Is what my understanding is.
Yeah, so
that's a bad look. That's stupid. That's a waste.
It is, but I also think it's just you're getting a sense of how much respect or thought that the school probably thinks about the penalty, because I think there's a lot of stuff that you could argue that the NCAA has done recently where some penalties are way stiffer than they need to be. I know you're an Ohio State guy, so we could always go back to the whole tattoo situation with Pryor.
Which is ridiculous.
I knew we could get him going on that
Absolutely. one. Absolutely. literally nowadays, it's not even
Ohio State was doing NIL before NIL was legal. So
it's not even a thought nowadays.
But I'm just saying there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. So I think in any penalty situation, you're trying to get ahead of it. They probably...
Did it get the NCAA off their back a little bit?
Well, they may think that there might not be any ban. So they're just doing it, but they don't necessarily know that there's going to be.
Do you do it with thinking that, all right, we're going to be in better standing now that if they've done something, they're more likely to throw the case out?
I've submitted a penalty. We've already punished them. You're not going to do double jeopardy here and do it twice. So you're kind of guessing as to what you think the penalty will be and is it severe enough. So if they don't think it's going to be that severe or there's not enough of a case, then you're almost saying I'm going to suspend it for 2 games when he may not get any.
Does this go back to the lack of power for the NCAA?
Yeah, I think it goes back to lack of power. I think it goes back to
lack of respect.
Yeah, all of it. Again, I think signal stealing is rampant. It's not unique. It's not illegal. Obviously, if he's on the sideline doing stuff, that crosses over some lines.
But as a coach,
but the fact that the NCAA can't prove anything, that's a tough one. You would think if it was that egregious, they'd have some definite stuff where they could come and put some teeth to it, and that the fact that they haven't is probably the bigger issue. But me personally, I would do the next 2 games because it's easy and clean. It is what it is.
When you have done it, have you done it to get the NAIA off you?
Yeah, basically, if you have a sanction or you know something's coming, then normally you try to
self-impose
prior to
set your own penalty,
right? Because you're hoping that will lessen it, because you know what you're getting. If you just wait, then you're just sitting. You could be sitting there for 3 months, 6 months. Who knows?
Let's just get the show on the road.
Correct.
But we're going to pick Central Michigan and Nebraska. How do you think Matt Rule and Nebraska feels?
No, that's why I think that one's a little
bulletin
odd.
board material right there.
Yeah, it is. But I didn't know that it has to be 2 games in a row.
I'm speculating at this point.
What are you doing?
But
week
Chris,
2 and then week 4, week 5, and then your 2 games?
Well, you'd say your conference opener. We're going to suspend him for the conference opener.
That is such a blatant bend of the rules, though, right? Or at least the norm.
Is the first game a home game?
The first game is a home game. The second game is a road game
There you
at
go.
Oklahoma.
So I would say I'm going to suspend him for our home opener, and then our opening conference game. Well, I guess that would be Oklahoma.
No, Oklahoma's not a conference game, but it's an out-of-conference away game.
There you go.
Nebraska. So
home opener and the opening of the Big Ten schedule. There you go. That makes sense.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Listen,
it might work.
There's a rhyme to it. There's a rhyme and reason to it.
You got to do it in a row. Like that's my 2 cents, but I understand the point.
My thing is, I mean, from what I've read, he deleted text. So
that was why he got in trouble.
Chris.
Now I not on purpose, but I mean, I don't know how many gigabytes you got on your phone, but there's times where if I want to do an Apple update, I got to delete 20 photos and 50 texts.
Because you don't have enough gigs.
That's what happened to him. He had to do an update.
No. He deleted text because he cheated.
Or he had to get the latest update.
You know what
it's
the funniest
Apple's
part
fault.
is? Mike is so Michigan cheated, but Harbaugh was suspended for the game against Ohio State, and everybody knew about the scandal, so it didn't happen that game, and they still lost.
Right. Who was the coach that won that game?
Sharon Moore.
I go back to
there you go.
I go back to the CJ Stroud.
Is that the game he was crying on the field after the game?
Kyle, I go back to CJ's final year at the shoe. I understand the point. I have no argument here because we got smoked by a backup coach. I understand that. But I go back to CJ's last year before he got drafted by the Texans when they lost to Georgia. At home, that game was blatantly clear that something was up. They knew exactly what was going on.
Chris Swagger, the Kaiser University Athletic Director, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. I'm curious about moving up and down in divisions. Now, this happens quite a bit. St. Francis, who famously made the NCAA tournament, decided to move down, I believe, to Division III after the tournament. And now I just saw that New Haven was moving up to the Northeastern Conference in Division I. And I'm curious, NAIA might be a little different, but moving up, down divisions, is that an athletic department move? Is that an administration move? Do conferences come calling, hey, are you considering this? Do you want this? Is it all a money thing? I'm curious from your perspective.
So yes to all the above. So there's conferences that call. Sometimes they need members or certain teams in certain sports to survive. So some of it's a travel thing. Like for example, if there's certain conferences that maybe are weak in football or losing members, and you got to have a certain amount. So they may recruit for certain people. I think sometimes
like the Big 12, for example, after they lost to Oklahoma and Texas.
Correct. I think sometimes it is financial, where maybe the landscape has changed and you need to join a different conference for, just so you're not traveling across the country.
What about moving up a division?
Sometimes it's ego.
What about moving up a division?
Yeah, I think sometimes, look, what is it? Billy Beane in Moneyball says, if we try to play like the Yankees in here, we'll lose the Yankees out there. I don't think everyone follows that philosophy. I think sometimes there's this idea that we're going to move up and we're going to be successful, or our brand's going to be stronger, or enrollment's going to go up because we're there. And I don't necessarily buy into that.
But that's how
I think you want to win where you're at.
That's how other departments operate.
I think there's some.
Is there a sense where you're just too good for the competition too? Like for the ones that I look back on that I think we've talked about before, like the teams like Loyola, they go on big runs. They leave the Missouri Valley Conference and they go to greener pastures in the A10, I think it is now.
I think that makes sense. If you're dominating in your conference and you can compete at a higher level, and then there's obviously TV contract money and there's more exposure, that would make sense. But you see some of these moves that you're like, you were 500 in your own conference, weren't competing, and now you're going to move to a tougher conference. I think the idea is, well, there might be more money. It's like NIL. If you were a middle of the pack team before, you're going to be a middle of the pack team now, like the NIL money, because everyone's playing with the same dollars and cents. So I think a lot of what's happening as far as Division I teams going down, or Division II, Division III. In the NEI, we're getting a lot of interest, to be honest, from Division II and Division III, because of a lot of the stuff that's changing, and geography and landscape. Some people are looking at moving over.
Do you get these calls, or they go higher than you?
That would be the national office, but we may be involved if it's someone local where it's a recruiting thing, or we have to do campus visits, or we know someone, or someone may call to get just information on how we operate. But you see a lot of that right now, where with the house settlement, with people having to opt in or opt out, I think there's a lot of decisions people are making saying, hey, we can't sustain this. It's not going to work for us. We don't have the money, or it's just not in the best interest of our athletic department. If you're high into Olympic sports, it's going to be tough. I'll be honest. I mean, if money gets redistributed, then and roster limits are going to stay in effect. And I know that's still not necessarily, that keeps going back and forth in the courts. But if that passes, you got to come up with the money somewhere. So
interesting. Now, Chris, you're a Miami Heat guy, to segue really quick. You're a South Florida guy. Mike and I talked about this last week. We were sort of on the same page. Earlier in the year, when this whole Butler saga came about, Jimmy Butler, that is, who's playing well for the Warriors right now. And I was more team Pat Riley because of the pedigree, the experience. He's the godfather, the whole thing. At this point, especially after that, 55 points they lost to Cleveland by in Game 4 at the Kaseya Center down in Miami. You're a Miami Heat guy through and through. I'm less on the boat of Pat Riley now comparatively to then. Where do you sit at this moment?
So first question, who would you get if you moved on him? Who's better?
Do you consider Spoelstra moving up in some role?
I don't think that. I mean, Spoelstra
the Brad Stevens role. So Stevens went from head coach to,
I understand who do you get, but at a certain point, don't you think it's almost like the reputation
they've been to
precedes itself?
Two
NBA Finals. 2020, 2023.
Right. And
they've been in the thick of it.
Look, to me, and I've always said this, it's either you're winning or you're not. I think people get caught in this purgatory when you're like, we got closer. What does that mean? You made a conference championship, then you lost. You made a conference championship, then you lost. The next year, you went to the quarters and lost, and now you're out. Would you rather trade 2 years of going to the championship and then for 3 bad years, or would you always want to be close?
The way I look at it is the way Miami played against Cleveland, and Mike can testify to this. I thought that they quit on that team. That was as pathetic of a loss.
I'm not saying the team needs to look the same, but what I'm saying is the way they've constructed it over the last few years with, they develop players. They've got a lot of guys in there that, if it wasn't for Pat Riley developing Strus, I don't know that the Cavs would even be alive right now. So,
they're not alive.
So
they're in some trouble.
They're dead in the
water.
water.
But I'm saying, you didn't see that. There's a lot of people there that they've developed. I think now it's getting
Caleb
the right.
Martin, the guy who went to, I believe went to Charlotte. But yeah, he got a big contract out of it. Like, there's guys who get contracts.
Yeah, so I think that part's there. I think, you can't miss some free agents. But
that's the idea. Like, people want to go to Miami. Miami's a destination. Miami's got a very good coach. But I think Pat Riley's reputation is starting to creep in the door, but 10 minutes before the people decide to walk in. That's where it gets a little nerve-wracking, that
maybe,
number of disputes that have been public.
Bam Adebayo called him the guy with the silver hair at the end of the year, and he's got to understand how he operates. To Colin's point, I don't know if he registers to this current NBA athlete anymore. And I think players who liked Jimmy, I think everybody in that locker room agreed it was time for Butler to move on because of how much of a distraction it came. But I also think that, they're seeing him have success right now, and maybe was Jimmy onto something here. Because let's call a spade a spade. 2020, 2023 don't happen without 1A.
No, but this year, if you kept Butler, you maybe go into the round. Maybe I don't think you beat Cleveland with Jimmy Butler. Yeah. So
the way I look at it is the ugliness.
To Chris's point,
but is the ugliness Riley's fault or is the ugliness?
Bill Belichick had a point where he needed to move on. Right. Red Auerbach had a point where he needed to move on. Great executives it's not a guarantee that they're going to be great executives for the entirety of their career.
Right.
Like, Popovich ran a lot of things. Popovich, it's a shame how he sort of exited the role, but at a certain point, there was a stepping off point with him and his decision-making.
Right.
It happens. So I'm just saying, is it time to start considering that, or are we going to let Riley walk off on his own terms whenever he's ready?
I think he walks off, but again, I also think if you look at the last 5 years, I don't think you can look at 1 year and one series in a vacuum and say that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know behind the scenes
how much they like him, how much they respect
him. Would they have rather had a lottery pick? I don't know their draft status. Had they missed the playoffs, would they have gotten a better pick, or was it traded away? Mm-hmm. Did they? I'm not saying they're trying to lose games,
right?
But was the plan not to even go that far because they knew the team wasn't going to do anything? I don't know how many guys they're retaining.
Yeah,
so
that's worst case scenario then, because they did win and they missed out on the draft pick. I don't know the direction they're trying to go. I tell Colin all the time, listen. If you're going to be middle of the pack, that's the worst place to be in the NBA.
Right.
So you're either going to have to bring in a big star, and they've been reluctant to trade for the big star because they don't want to get rid of Hero and they don't want to get rid of Bam. You got to get off the fence. You're either embracing a quote-unquote tank and a rebuild, or you're going to reload and go for it again. Try to get a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hell, maybe another star becomes available once the playoffs are over.
Yeah, I don't think Bam and Hero have been untouchable. I just think,
from what Miami Heat fans
they're not willing to give up a
for nothing,
plethora of assets. Yes,
right.
for one player. That's just not their style.
like Lillard. Had they given a lot up for Lillard, I mean, granted, I know that
it didn't pan out.
That didn't pan out for a lot of different reasons, but that worked out in their favor right now. I mean, not to say he would have necessarily gotten the same injury had he come here, but I think that's what makes Pat Riley and the whole staff good is the way that they manage the dollars and cents, the rosters, the development side. I would be interested to know how many teams, if you looked at, got big free agents and are in a way worse spot. They traded away assets, they got worse, and they're still in purgatory. Phoenix.
Yeah.
Like you would say, that GM's great. He's got all these people. Where did he get them? And now they're stuck. So I think I would say the Heat probably do a better job than anyone else as far as managing the dollars and cents over the years and freeing up some space down the road to try to sign someone.
What do you think the direction looks like then?
Again, I said before, I would go for someone young if I could. I don't think Giannis, that you probably have to give way too much up.
You have to give up everybody.
Everything.
Yeah, but I mean, if you could get a young guy, like I said before, like an Anthony Edwards or something like that, someone that is going to, you're getting on the front end of the career, not the back end.
Right.
Obviously, that's always the target. I mean, could Durant or someone like that in here? Yeah, I don't know that that's any better, but if you could get him on a deal, maybe. But I still think you're delaying the inevitable.
Issue is, I agree with you. They need to get younger, but those guys don't grow on trees that are available in trades.
Right.
So, best case scenario, Anthony Edwards. You see what Finch said after the game last night? Okay, throw him under the bus.
Openly challenged them.
Best case scenario is he gets angry, wants out. All of a sudden, in comes Pat Riley.
Oklahoma City's got some young guys. I don't know how long they keep them. I mean, those guys are probably bound to go to a bigger market at some point. If it was fantasy basketball, it'd be easy. There's no salary cap, but that's where it gets tricky.
Now it's very hard with the salary cap nowadays.
Between luxury tax and then just different things that you can do or not do. I mean, you got to manipulate it. That's just why I think that organization has done a great job, taking low picks, develop, D-League guys, and actually making them rotational players.
To that point,
I don't know who's done a better job at that.
Hero and Bam have been great.
True.
I think what Heat fan is sick of is the retooling on the fly, is the Terry Roziers of the world, coming on in here and not necessarily making an impact.
Hassan Whiteside.
I think to that point,
Hassan Whiteside was a bad one. I'll give you that. that was rough. Rozier had good stats coming in. I mean, I don't know that anyone predicted
with Charlotte. Take it easy
on a bad team. I think that Heat fan wants to have sustainability where, hey, we're actually the 4 seed. We're actually the 3 seed. We're not fighting in this damn ridiculous Mickey Mouse Magic Kingdom playing tournament every year to get into the playoffs.
Right.
I think Heat fan would like to have more stability. That's my best guess.
Right. Chris, we appreciate you giving us the time. As always, looking forward to, hopefully by the time next time we talk to you, we'll be at maybe 27, 28.
Yeah, and then is the training, are you there?
Yeah, I feel good.
You feel good?
All right, for context, for my half Ironman, which is coming up soon, by the way.
Chris, you have no idea.
5 weeks. My biggest hater is Chris Swagger. My biggest hater by a long shot.
I'm not a hater. I'm just asking questions.
I'm
asking, how is it going?
It's going well.
The bike is a real. I told you the bike.
The bike is not a
real issue.
So I did 60 miles on the bike last Friday. I did it before work. How about that? And it was awful. It was done.
Is 60 miles what you're riding there?
It's 56.
Okay.
So I did it. I did it up in Jupiter.
But you did it flat, not up at. I mean, the terrain is not the exact same out there as it is here. This is easy.
Correct. Well, hold on. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy.
It should be. If you're going to ride 60 miles in the mountains, this should be cake.
There's headwind. There's the wind.
Chris,
is a problem.
He's blaming the equipment.
The equipment is not what it needs to be. So that's number one.
Do you ride in a pack with people?
No, I'm not one of those people. I think they ride so much faster than I do. Like, I'm getting there. Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they also have rigs. They have vessels. Yeah. They have $10,000 machines.
They know what they're doing.
Correct.
No, that's not the right way to say it.
They know what they're doing.
Colin he called it a pirate ship on an $150 bike.
It's a sailboat. It's a catamaran. That's what it is. I don't have a speedboat. I have a catamaran. So it's going to take its time. It's going to get you there. Might take a little bit, but it's going to get you there.
Okay.
But I've done all 3 thresholds, which means I've done the whole distances on the swim, on the bike, and on the run. Individually,
just not together, back to back.
But hold on, you're not seeing the positives. The positives is that all 3 thresholds are done. Now it's a matter of putting it all together. Next Sunday, I'm doing a Olympic distance, which is like it's like a quarter, it's like a half of a half, and I'm doing that in Key Biscayne on Sunday, May 18th. So hold on.
Okay. So
you want to get a real litmus test? There it is. Because if I could do that, and I actually think that's going to be easy.
Can people go and like heckle at this thing? Are they allowed to?
Are you going to go down to you want to go down to Key Biscayne and heckle?
I might.
Biggest hater ever. I'm telling you. But
You're going to heckle Colin?
I think it's going to be easy.
I'll just point stuff out.
You see, he's sinking. He's sinking.
You're going to heckle Colin?
I'm helping him. Yeah, exactly.
So I have an ankle monitor too. You know that?
From prison? Is this a release thing?
I hope not. You get in trouble, bud.
During the race, you get an ankle monitor, so you can track. And I'm going to make sure you have the information needed. Okay. And what I told
if you're
my
too
parents,
slow, do they buzz you out, or that's just
what I told my parents is if I'm still in the water about 45 minutes after it starts, call somebody. All right, but that's the goal. If I can get out in about 45, 50 minutes, if I'm still in the ocean,
is it really to track or is it to locate people?
I don't know. That's a good question. So my dad is trying. My dad, because apparently the beginning of these swims, people are climbing all over you, elbows, kick. That's like the worst part of it.
Yes, you're with people. You're not doing this by yourself. I mean, that's the other part of it.
I understand. And my dad was telling me that if people get kicked in the face, if people get knocked out, they get knocked out in the beginning parts of the race.
You can't use that as an excuse, by the way.
No, if I get kicked in the head and knocked out at the beginning of the race,
I'm worried about death.
Yeah.
I'm worried about death.
If I'm out of the water,
it's in open water,
in 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, give me this. I'll track it. I'll be watching. Big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, is there a live TV foot? Is there?
I don't know about that, but I'll have to double check.
Chris,
there is an ankle monitor.
Colin was telling me.
Is there a line on this one if people finish? I mean, is there like odds?
Finishes. And how about this? You know what? I haven't told you this. If all goes well, I'm going to do a full.
And it's in Madison, Wisconsin.
September 7th.
It's a real one then, not a little half one, like a real one.
Give me a break.
But the issue, do you want to know the issue, Chris?
What's that?
This is in the middle of football season, and he hasn't talked to Stephanie about it.
Hold on. It's week 1 of the NFL season. That is problematic.
Let me set this up, Chris. I wanted to do like a Colin and I company thing where we do our show from Madison and go to the Ohio State-Wisconsin game because Wisconsin and ESPN Madison, the Badgers are partners. Right, ESPN Madison, good karma, the whole 9 yards. And she shut it down. So I'm interested to see how the half Ironman or full Ironman taking off days during football season conversation goes. I mean,
that is problematic. I agree.
Very
it's going to be
interesting.
week 1. What a send-off. What a retirement. This would be a retirement.
Why is it a retirement?
Because I'm not doing this after.
He can't do the bike.
I'm not doing this after. I can't bike. Do you cycle?
No, I don't cycle.
He said he's going to throw his bike.
Do I look like a cycler?
I don't know what a cyclist.
I'm a normal person.
They usually
I just don't get on a bike and ride 100 miles or whatever.
Chris, he said he's
no offense to cyclists out there. I'm not trying to, but it's
probably
like,
no, it is.
I don't know how people enjoy it. I do not know how people enjoy it.
It's hard.
He said he's going to throw his bike into Lake Mahito in Wisconsin.
Mendota.
I'm
going to throw my bike out. But if it all goes well, I'm going to do the full. And you're going to still be my first call after the half, and you're going to be my first call after the full.
Okay.
Nobody has doubted me more
than Chris Swager.
The Kaiser University.
It's not doubt. I'm just making you prepared. That's all.
Mentally preparing him.
We'll see when that maybe I don't. If I don't last to the Key Biscayne one, we might call fire. All right, that if the Key Biscayne one is problematic, we're gonna.
You can't back out. You got to do it.
I'm doing it. I bought my flight. I'm doing it. Chris Swager, of course, the Kaiser University athletic director. Chris, we appreciate the time as always. Looking forward to talking again in a couple weeks.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Maybe we'll have an update on the Key Biscayne one by the time you.
No, I need an update.
Yeah, and maybe a couple more national championships for Kaiser University. Taking a time out here, Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, The lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you bet goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, your bet will get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
This Mother's Day, give Mom a gift with endless possibilities. Give her a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. The Breakers gift card lets you treat Mom to all the things she loves, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler Steakhouse. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. You can never repay Mom for all she's done, but a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach is a great way to start. Visit thebreakers.com today.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
That was Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director just then. That's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, back at the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, an accident of any kind, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Well, on the other game last night, we saw the Pacers knock off the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 2 to take a 2-0 series lead. Another game that was a bit more surprising, in my opinion, weirdly enough, was the Golden State Warriors, who had Steph Curry only play 13 minutes and suffered a hamstring injury. We'll get into that in a moment. They won 99-88. The Timberwolves were terrible all game long. They didn't even bother to show up. And most notably, Anthony Edwards did not even bother to show up. You even had Chris Finch, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, challenging him, saying, your effort is not where it needs to be, and to the media. And this is not behind closed doors, the whole thing. He went 9 of 22. He started 0 of 10 with 23 points and 14 rebounds, but it was so much worse than that. He had such a bad game and a terrible loss. I think if I mentioned the bounce back, if I had to bet on a game, I would say Golden State's going to lose by 55 points next game.
He didn't have a basket in the first half, Colin.
Yeah, 10 or whatever.
They scored 31 points in the first half. They had an 11-point quarter. I think I'll have to look back at a couple of the other playoff games. Colin, I believe 11 points is the lowest playoff number that we have in a quarter all year long. 11 is crazy. Definitely. And they got outscored by 15. They actually had a 2-point. This was an ugly first half all around. As Colin mentioned, Curry played 13 minutes. How about Butler, though? On a night he didn't even shoot well either. He had 8 assists, 11 rebounds, and 20 points. That's a 7 of 20, 2 of 8 from 3. Jimmy was chucking.
Yeah.
But he was the facilitator. And how about Draymond Green? 4 of 10 from 3, 18 points, 8 boards, 6 assists. He almost quietly had a triple-double. So I think this was a scenario for the Warriors where they got lucky. They got lucky. Ant was very bad, and no one else was good for the Timberwolves either. That gaunted bench outside of Naz Reid, DiVincenzo was pretty bad. Rudy Gobert didn't really make an impact outside of the 11 rebounds. They scored 88 points. Colin, the Timberwolves scored 88 points in an NBA game.
I think a testament to... hold on. I would use the word lucky sparingly there. I'd say the word lucky for Indiana. That was a lucky, fortunate game for them.
No,
that game fell into their hands.
Cavs beat themselves at every turn.
Well, but that was a fortunate game. They led the game for 1 minute. The Minnesota Timberwolves, on the other hand, they were so bad. And I got it. And listen, I was talking a little bit down on Steve Kerr. Show me it without Steph Curry. He showed me yesterday. He put on a masterclass of utilizing his bench. They went 12 deep.
Kuminga actually played some meaningful minutes.
They had Pat Spencer come in. And Pat Spencer, who is Cam Spencer's brother, so there's a UConn connections there. Pat Spencer went to Loyola and was a 4-year All-American, best record-breaking lacrosse player, and then decided to transfer for a senior year to play basketball. Played 1 year, got undrafted by the Warriors, survived throughout the G League, made the roster, and all of a sudden he's getting meaningful playoff minutes and playing well at that. Only had 4 points, but I mean, still, Pat Spencer in a meaningful playoff game. I got to give Steve Kerr credit, utilizing his bench there. And Kuminga, who he utilized in the game a little bit, is terrible. He's a terrible basketball player. And he's awful. But going 12 deep in that environment, Draymond Green going small ball, I got to give Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, and that whole team a lot of credit because they were out-rebounding a team that utilized their size against Los Angeles and out-hustling them. That was apparent throughout the entire game. And, I mean, with them shooting as bad as they did, Minnesota that is, the Warriors out-hustled them.
It was like a complete... as far as the Cleveland game and this game comparatively, Curry was out. Their best player was out, and they were able to find a way.
Yeah.
The Cavs were without 3 and had an 18-point lead at one point and couldn't figure out a way. It was a kind of flip-flop in that sense. But if Curry is going to miss a whole week, Colin, wow.
Yeah, grade 1 hamstring injury for him.
If Minnesota can't figure that out, if Minnesota and Anthony Edwards can't win this series without Steph Curry playing in 70% of the games, I got a real problem with that, bud. I do.
The one thing I'll say is he doesn't need to play game 2, which is Thursday. Then they got game 3 on Saturday, and then they got till Monday is game 4. If you're looking at game 5 at Minnesota, which will be next Wednesday, maybe that's the money day that they're looking at.
This Warrior team has 4 players. They have Jimmy.
No,
they have
more.
Curry,
they just went 12 deep
Green.
yesterday. They have more players than that.
Kyle, 4 players that are actually worth a damn.
All right. Now I'm not taking this because
Buddy,
I give
Jimmy,
the Warriors bench a
Curry,
lot of credit.
Green.
I give the Warriors bench a lot of credit. They utilized a lot of guys, and I mean, Hield played great. I give him credit. Draymond Green might be the best defender in the postseason at the moment. He is unbelievably good.
He's the
defensively.
He's the defensive player of the year, right? Oh no, that was the guy in street clothes last night.
I get Draymond.
Yeah.
Hey, we know how good he is defensively, but oh my God,
Colin,
every game.
As far as a full series goes, that's why I bring this up.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of trouble.
Series.
They're going to have a lot of trouble closing this team out without Curry. I completely agree.
And Randall, McDaniels, Gobert, Edwards, Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, I'll take that over the band of misfits that come off of the Warrior bench. But I understand your point how they were great last night.
Steve Kerr, credit to you. That is almost a little bit of an island of misfit toys, and they were able to put that together. That was a great win yesterday. A great win. Now, it stinks about Curry. Part of me thinks, hamstrings are so tricky. They take a lot. They killed Harden throughout his career. Marshawn Lattimore comes to mind. Bad hamstrings, never get over it. Mike Evans deals with once every year. It's a very tricky injury, and this is something that Curry has never missed games because of a hamstring in his entire career. This is going to be a very tricky injury to navigate because you want him to play, but you also don't want to make it worse. You don't care about Game 2 if they go 1-1 back to Golden State, but you're going to have to be at 2-2 going into Game 5. Going down, Curry coming back at 3-1, you can't lose the next 3. That would be my takeaway. So Butler's going to have to give a little Miami and have a 37-point performance with some assistance from that island of misfit toys off the bench.
Edwards has had a couple of stinkers in this playoffs.
Quietly.
He really has, man. From what we saw last year to the brilliance that was in, I know he's had great games this year, but his stinkers this year have been more apparent to me, especially last night.
It's like he doesn't even show up.
Kyle, he went 0-11. What was that, the closeout game? They won. Didn't he go 0-11 and they won? That shows how deep that team is sometimes with Randall, Naz Reid, and company.
Terrible. And he wasn't even that good in Game 1. Against the Lakers, he has his ups and downs. And it's almost like nobody cares because they got a good roster around him when he does. He doesn't need to play great for them to win. But he needed to play better than what he did yesterday. Yesterday, they were lethargic.
I was shocked about what Finch said after the game, too. Publicly to the media.
I like that.
You like it?
Yes. You're either going to get an Anthony Edwards that is going to be motivated by that and challenged by that in the best ways possible, which I assume that will be the case.
Does that resonate with the new player, though? I don't think it does, personally.
What, do you want to cater to him?
Not cater to him.
Don't shoot 0-11 in the first half.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
sure you don't think he talked to him? You don't think he talked to him?
Don't bring it to the media. That's all I'm saying. I don't think these.
They're going to ask him, what do you think about Anthony Edwards? He's not going to lie. I think he needs to turn it around.
It's just an off night. He'll be back.
But I think it's the energy. He wasn't upset. You didn't shoot well. That's one thing. But if you don't shoot well and you're not playing hard, that's a whole other thing. I think that's what Chris Finch took issue with.
I just wonder how he takes it. To your point, I wonder how he takes it.
You're gonna learn a lot about him, and if he wants to play, so I don't think Edwards is the soft type. I think he's going to actually utilize that and play hard because of it. I think he will be motivated.
Comparatively, I like what Finch said after the game better than what Kenny Atkinson said when Kenny said, "Oh, we ran out of gas." Ran out of gas, Kenny. You didn't play anybody. You didn't go to the bench.
I can't blame that on Kenny. I can't blame that. When the guys didn't play, I can't blame that.
But he's saying, but you could have played Tristan Thompson. You could have played more guys, Kyle. You could have played more guys.
I dig deeper into the bench when you're already missing 3 starters. I understand, but, I mean, you ran out of gas. You only got so many guys.
But at the end of the game, comparatively, and you needed a rebound, you're not going to put in one of the best rebounders in franchise history.
Maybe that would have made sense. But that's one specific play.
You get why I'm upset when he's basically blaming the game on running out of gas. Come on, man. And then in that ridiculous interview that I can't stand, Kyle, the after quarter, before quarter starts interview, it's just waxing poetically about Mitchell, and we all were. But he says now he has to finish the game. And then look at how that game turned out.
Well, he had 50 points.
He couldn't walk. Kyle, the guy couldn't walk.
So
he ran him into the ground.
He ran out of gas, so he's right. Ran
him into the ground. Deep. Hey, Kenny.
So Atkinson is right. So you want to take him out? You want to take Mitchell out of the game?
No, dig deeper into the bench, though. Play more guys.
Well, you're going to play Donovan Mitchell. He's going to be your go-to guy regardless. I don't know who you wanted to get in the game to leave.
The problem,
Ty Jerome was playing terrible.
The problem,
there was nobody else to take,
you're
the load off Donovan Mitchell's back.
You're going to laugh at this, what Cavs fans have been hitting me up about. The Knicks guys play 40 minutes a game. They're completely fine. Why can't Mitchell? You needed Mitchell to go the full bell. He did, and it wasn't enough.
That's it.
I don't want to hear about running out of gas in the post-game press conference, so I could have went without that. That's all I'm saying, mate.
I mean, I agree. They blew the game. That was the answer. But I think Mitchell was out of gas by the end of the game.
I want accountability. That guy got out coached, too. Rick Carlisle at the end of that game with that press.
I got to give it. They blew the game. Max Strus blew the game. They had turnovers at the end of the game. Didn't know how to break a press. Carlisle, we're pressuring them, and we're going to get an offensive rebound, then a 3. That was it. Terrible loss, though. I completely agree. I understand the frustration. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll do a little 5 and 5 on the flip side of things. Second hour of Russo and Rizzo coming up right here on ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs. Time to start getting your ride ready for summer. Stop by the Unlimited Auto Wash Clubs and try out one of our best wash packages, the Ultimate Plus. It gives you everything your car needs, inside and out, including our ceramic graphene coating. Or try one of our unlimited monthly plans, starting as low as $34.95 a month, or with inside and out plus tire shine starting as low as $49.95 a month. Visit any one of our 6 convenient locations or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
ESPN 1063 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 1063. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sportsbook. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. Miss any of the program today? You want to listen back? Go to Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. You get Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. We're from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. If you were curious on what the Pacers live line was at 119, 112, with about 47 seconds to go, that would have been quite a hit over on Hard Rock Bet.
Or if you're a sucker like me and took the Cavaliers with the spread last night. Kyle, to our good friends at Hard Rock Bet's point, when Strus hit that 3 to make it 7, I go, all right, I'm covering. Indiana's going to miss. Free throw game. Cavs are going to cover. Oy vey, was I wrong. But, folks, download that Hard Rock Bet app today. Check out the Battle of the Bets. Pick a side. Make a stand with Battle of the Bets. Some really fun stuff going on with Hard Rock Bet. It's spring, too. Baseball's here. Damn near summer at this point. Baseball in full swing. One of my favorite things to do is to check out those MLB games. Make a fun little parlay when I'm home watching MLB Big Inning. Get involved with our good friends at Hard Rock. And imagine turning $25 into $62,000 on a 20-leg parlay. That's exactly what a Florida bet did her last month. Get involved on the action with their good friends at Hard Rock Bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and physically present in the state of Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you're concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. That is 1-888-ADMIT-IT. I'll be checking out some of the NBA lines coming up tonight. You got the Celtics and Knicks in action tonight. That should be a fun one as well. Download that Hard Rock Bet app today and gamble responsibly.
Christian Catter, producer of today's program. Haven't heard from you behind the glass. How are you doing?
Doing okay. I'm at war, but I'm all good at work.
You're at war?
Yeah. Termites.
Oh, God.
Subterranean termites. This is the time of year.
How'd you notice?
Because I went through this last year where we thought there was like mosquitoes that were getting in from the back patio. And we're like, this sucks. This is annoying. Kind of sick and tired of this, whatever. But then they started to multiply because termites, they get in your place of living or your place of business by flying there. At least down here they do. They lay eggs and they colonize. And today, or last night rather, we saw 2 of them fly, hit our ceiling lamp, fall to the ground. We killed them right there. But my morning today was all about controlling those damn termites.
So what do you do for that?
You got to go buy the specific pesticide for termites. It's not the same that you would get for roaches or ants or anything like that. It's special for that species. You also should be putting lavender. Maybe you have a diffuser in your living room that we do. They hate the smell of lavender. So we put that out there. And you cannot have a light that's near a window or a sliding glass door that gets opened often because they get attracted to the light. They come on inside. So termites like to recolonize after rain showers when it's hot. So we keep that in mind, not opening the back door immediately after a rain shower, which is a pain because we have dogs, and that's where they use the bathroom. But that's been heavy on my mind as of late, these termites.
God, man. Nothing worse than insects inside, dude.
You enjoying that? Yeah.
No, the spiders. Don't they eat those things?
I will say this is a lot better spot that I'm in than it was this time last year.
You're prepared.
It was frustrating. I was ambushed. It was guerrilla warfare. The termites had the upper hand. I was paranoid. I thought that the coffee grounds that were on my kitchen counter were like termite poop or whatever. That wasn't the case. It was just coffee grounds from the Nespresso machine. So now I'm well prepared. I'm not paranoid anymore. I know exactly what termite activity looks like. You don't want them to shed their wings. If they shed their wings, that means that they've reproduced and they laid eggs. So I'm nipping it in the bud. Had an active morning this morning, getting my tools, my ammunition, to take them out.
So, Christian, by the way, my washer gate, no one came over.
All right.
So if I come home,
so this is what you get 3 days left.
If I come home and washer isn't fixed, I'm calling. I'm calling because, like, you know how these apartment complexes are. You make a service request. They email you all the time and go, oh, in order to get something fixed or something's broken, it's as easy as making a service request. Well, now it's going to be 2.5 days, and the thing hasn't been at all, even acknowledged. I didn't even get an email or a text or a call from anybody. Hey, we know your appliances are messed up. We're on the way. So I'm going to give tomorrow morning, if it's not fixed, I'm going to give a call and be like, hey, can we figure this out before the weekend?
So this is like episode 3 of Lost, where there's still hope, right? Maybe we'll get rescued.
Correct.
Maybe, possibly. I want to keep the signal fire burning.
What if the maintenance guy is like on vacation and they don't have a backup?
Like this is Polo. This is ESPN Polo number 2. I have 2 more, and this is favorite pants number 2. So we're like,
is there a break glass in case of emergency like outfit?
Yeah, there is, and it's in my suitcase that I didn't unpack.
You have a go bag.
I low key. I have a suitcase of clothes that I didn't unpack specifically because I didn't have room in my drawers and whatever, and I don't really wear them that often. But I do have an outfit in there And thank God I've been losing a little weight because, it was back when I was like 190. Let's put it that way.
So you're bad flapper too, right?
Bad flapper too.
Toilet's still running.
Bad flapper. I took a look at it as well, and let's just say it didn't go too well.
Flapper.
You're in some trouble.
Well.
You're in some trouble.
So
I'm looking
Saturday.
for. I hope. Not for your sake, but just to see
Guys,
where you go from here.
I pay out the wazoo to live at this place. I hope they'll fix my washer.
You got 2 bedrooms or 1 bedroom?
I just have 1 bedroom.
Okay.
I have 1 bedroom.
Just to see how you'd react.
And it's like,
I hope this does not get fixed.
It's a brand spanking new machine, state of the art machine. I can't believe, even though as much as I do laundry, I can't believe that this busted. Because I compare myself to a woman with 5 kids, how much I do laundry. I can't believe that this thing is busted, honest to God.
Maybe it's the fact that you do it.
And I don't have 5 kids?
Yeah. Every day? You've expedited the process of aging for this washing machine.
That's true.
Maybe.
It's like dog lives.
Maybe.
It's 9 years with Mike Rizzo as a washing machine is the same as 1 for a normal man.
They tell you to do something hey, if no need to call, here you go, just do this. I haven't even heard from anybody. I followed the rules. I haven't heard from anybody.
This guy is on a 3-week-long vacation.
This is when you knock on some doors and make a stink in front of prospective residents, where they're selling them the pitch on the apartment of the amenities. Excuse me, apartment 312 here, and I haven't seen anybody in a week.
But Christian, these people, my apartment complex did me a solid when I originally moved down here. They bent over backwards for me to move in before my dad left to go back home to. I would never do that to Paola and the staff over there. Okay,
bent over backwards. You're the one that's paying them money.
Yeah, right.
There's a reason why I get these move-in specials to my email inbox every single day.
They couldn't wait for you to move in. They couldn't wait.
I guess, but they've always done solid by me.
They couldn't wait for that security deposit.
I am a little surprised I've not heard anything from maintenance yet.
This wasn't an early check-in at a hotel where it's we can move along our cleaning crew.
Yeah.
Get you in there early.
They want that payment to clear, my friend.
And I want the people to come in that fix the washer. Go, God, this kid has a nice apartment. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I want to leave recording devices to hear the 2 guys who come. This place is sick.
If you're Mike Rizzo, you're in some trouble because your workout clothes, you're few and far between now with no washing machine. But if you really want to go start your day off with a victory, go over to F45 downtown West Palm Beach, locations in Wellington as well. F45, more the functional side of working out. 45-minute classes, 2 coaches on site. Loud music. You understand exactly what you're supposed to do with video screens right in front of you on the wall, so you can just follow along. It's easy. It's accessible. More importantly, it's very fun, and you get a good sweat in, so you feel good walking out of there. It's not like the Olympic style lifts where you feel stiff, tight, maybe get hurt. This is more to keep you loose, keep you flexible, to keep you functionally strong. That's what F45 has to offer. Best part is if you're looking to train for something like High Rocks, they got you covered there, and you get your first 3 classes for just $30. Go check them out today, F45 downtown West Palm Beach on Instagram. We'll do a little 5 at 5. On the flip side, it's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine, and our team is a triple threat to big insurance companies.
Don't settle with the insurance companies for a fraction of what your case is worth. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Get your free case review right now. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach. Wing Wednesday, brought to you by Hurricane Grill and Wings. 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, handcrafted cocktails. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497 That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all. I'm only human, y'all.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
It's getting hotter in South Florida. It's getting a little stickier, a little more humid. That inevitable rainfall at night, later in the afternoon, it's coming. And because of that, you need to make sure that your HVAC unit and air conditioning unit is up to speed, up to date. John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. They've been proudly serving Palm Beach County since 1960, helping keeping homes cool and comfortable right here in South Florida. If you don't even know how old or if it's up to speed, your air conditioning unit, you can get one of their highly trained technicians to come out to your home. They can troubleshoot, do diagnostic checks, and all of a sudden they know that, hey, this might need a fix or it's in good shape. Up to 90% of system breakdowns on units less than 10 years old, they could have been prevented had they been regularly checked and diagnostics and the whole thing, troubleshooting. So, Go avoid that problem, especially with the summer months ahead right here in South Florida. Go to CassidyAC.com to get more information, especially with a company that locally services like John C. Cassidy. They're part of our local community. And they support organizations like the YMCA, the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Go get started today. Check out CassidyAC.com. Christian, Cat, Mike, Rizzo, Colin, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. Let's have some fun here. Let's bounce around. We'll do a little 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
With last night's stunning Pacers come from behind win and the Warriors capitalizing on the Timberwolves' cold shooting night to steal Game 1, the road team has won every single game in this NBA second round so far. My question for you guys, is this a freak occurrence or a side effect of something else, maybe about the teams that succeed in the regular season aren't actually the best teams come playoff time? What are your opinions?
I do think that there is something to be said about teams more interested in just getting in that top 6 on each conference and then worrying about it from there. I think that is more important than the team that is really trying to win 65 games in the regular season. But the other thing I'll say is that I think some of the games, the Knick game more importantly, was a little fluky, a little bit of an outlier, depending on how terrible the Celtics really played. And you can even say the same thing about the Warrior game. But that Pacers, they outplayed Cleveland in Game 1. And the Nuggets, they rumbled back, but they made bigger plays down the stretch than OKC did. I don't think this is necessarily a complete fluke. I think it goes series by series, but there is something to be said about teams caring about getting into the playoffs, not dealing with the play-in, and then worrying about matchups.
All right, so I put this into 3 categories. 2 of the teams fall into 1. The Nuggets and the Warriors are winning because of their experience. The Nuggets, I think, with the Joker, Jamal Murray and company, they've won a championship. They know how to do this. They kind of beat up a little bit on the Thunder in that second half in Game 1. The Warriors, bit of the same. Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. I know Steph Curry only played 13 minutes, but Jimmy did enough. Draymond did plenty. And Steve Kerr, to Colin's point earlier in the show, really good coaching job there. The next tier, Boston. They just missed shots. I don't think this is a case of them winning 61 games and trying to, they're not even the 1 seed. So let's take that regular season portion out of it. They just hit shots. That's why they missed shots, and the Knicks took advantage of a mucked-up game. And in a game where the Celtics missed 45 three-pointers, it took overtime for the Knicks to beat them. The Celtics are fine. They're going to win in 5. As far as the Cavaliers, the story with Cleveland is injuries. Yet again, last year, Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen didn't think they were good enough. They didn't play. You lose to Boston. In this series now, you had 3 guys in street clothes dancing and worrying about what they were wearing instead of being on a court in a must-win game. Cleveland is known as being soft around the league because for the last 2 years, they've had guys not play when a lot of people think they can play. I said earlier in the show, Christian, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they should have played this and that. But it was a must-win game. I was shocked they didn't play.
Number 2.
Good news and bad news for the Warriors after their win last night, 99-88 over Minnesota. The bad news is Steph Curry exited the game in the first half due to a strained hamstring. It's been announced that Curry will be out for at least a week with that injury. Now, here's your theoretical. Put yourselves in the shoes of a Warriors fan. If I told you yesterday you would win Game 1, but you would lose Steph for at least a week. Or open door number 2. You lose Game 1 and Steph is perfectly healthy. Which scenario do you prefer?
Game 2. All right, option 2. So door number 2. You want Steph Curry available. And maybe the Warriors have done well without him all year. They're deeper than I think people want to give them credit for. You'll drop Game 1 because you just got to steal one of the first 2. You should have brought this as you're not going to win one of the first 2 games in their building, because the idea is you want to win one of them. You don't want to win both. You don't even Game 1 versus Game 2 does not make a difference. Door number 2, keep Curry healthy. I'd be nervous. You got to go 2-2 going into Game 5.
I agree with Colin just because of how bad Edwards played. Like, say Edwards had a great game, Minnesota had a great game, and the Warriors still run without Steph, I'd probably go with option 1. But just because how bad Ant played, I'll go option 2.
So you're waking up less happy today than you would if you
Probably,
lost?
comparatively, because this is a 7-game series. This isn't like football where, you win the game and you're moving on. You got a lot of basketball left to be played.
And very nerve-wracking spot, especially with a hamstring, too, which could just get tweaked and all of a sudden you're shot. But, I'd be nervous.
Is it partially because it's the Warriors we're talking about, where their success is measured differently? And yes, winning Game 1 betters Golden State's chance to win this series, but you're not worried about just winning the series. You're worried about going forward, where you're kind of thinking of the main goal here, the end goal here. And you need a healthy Steph Curry to win the finals.
You're not winning this series if Steph doesn't play in another game. Agreed?
If he's back by Game 6, are you okay?
Probably not. He needs to come back sooner than later.
You think they lose 4 to the next 5 if that's
If
the case?
Steph doesn't play, yeah. And maybe I'm putting too much stock into Edwards having a bad game. But, dude, we saw this last year with the T-Wolves. The Nuggets were a great team last year. They stunned them. They stunned a lot of teams, and they arguably could have beaten Luka and Dallas, too, in that series.
The one thing I'll say is the Warriors, they matched up well with them. They gave them problems.
But are they
going to
get great minutes from all those role players?
I agree. You're going to need hero ball from Jimmy Butler. No doubt about that. My takeaway is, are they going to lose 4 of the next 5? If it's going to be Game 6 is 12 days from now. Or 11 days from now.
Let's put in for games. I mean, if it's Game 6 and the Warriors are still around and Steph comes back, what's that series look like?
You're probably down 3-2. Yeah? That means you go 1-3. That's not impossible.
No.
That's not impossible.
But I don't know. With Curry, with how big he's been for this team since they won that championship and he proved all the critics like myself wrong, I don't know. I think they need him.
Yeah, Warriors training staff, you got your hands full. Let's move on.
Number 3.
We go to the ice. We're not talking about the Oilers come from behind for their 5th straight game to beat Vegas. We're not talking about the Hurricanes beating the Capitals in overtime. We're talking about the NHL's newest team name, going from the Arizona Coyotes to the Utah Hockey Club to the Utah Mammoth. How do you like it?
I like that. I think that's a cool... I saw the jersey. It's a little Kraken-esque, Seattle Kraken-esque. But I do like the look, and I like the team name. I think that's something different, not something I expected. I have no problem with that, especially with Utah.
The logo's sick.
Yeah.
It's like it looks like a mountain, but it turns out to be a mammoth, and you got the tusk, and you got the...
That's a mammoth.
Is that the nose? Is the nose the tusk? No, the tusk
trunk?
Thank you. You got the trunk, you got the tusk. I like the color scheme, the Callus Point, and something Christian and I talked in our pre-show meeting. I think the NHL has hit home runs with the last couple of expansion teams, or rather teams that have moved to new greener pastures.
Yeah, the branding. Golden Knights fit. Oh, it hit in year 1, how they Vegas-ified the NHL experience there. And then also the Kraken's cool.
Yep. I like the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I understand that was the thing in the 80s before, right?
Yep.
They were called the
took
Jets
it from
before.
Atlanta.
But I don't know. And hockey jerseys are cool. Yeah. I'm not a hockey guy, as I said. It's kind of my blinders growing up in a city where the big 3 were football, basketball, and baseball. But, dude, hockey jerseys are dope, and I can't wait to see those jerseys on the ice.
Number 4.
To the NFL, where the Steelers have traded away wide receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 third-rounder and a pick swap in 2027. Is this another case of a Steelers drafted wide receiver going on somewhere else, disappearing into really obscurity like Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Martavis Bryant, or did Dallas get a great value pickup?
Throw Deontay Johnson in there, too.
Yeah.
Been a lot.
I would say that this is not a bad move for Dallas, because I don't think they didn't give up a lot. You gave up a third-round pick. That's essentially
a fifth-rounder.
But then they essential swap.
Sure.
They didn't give up a lot for a guy who's going to start for them.
You want to know
play a lot.
You want to know what this tells me? Steelers don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, that's it.
This is a blessing in disguise. Pickens is a distraction. Intern Colton here at ESPN West Palm is a big Steeler fan. He was very upset. I said, dude, be relieved. be relieved that,
he must be very problematic.
And listen, if he fits the Cowboy style and they think, they've handled big personalities before, sure. I'm all here for that. I hope this is greener pasture for Pickens and the Steelers comparatively. But I think the Steelers, it's a good move by them. You picked up, Metcalf, and you figure it out from there.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate the move on from the Steelers, and Dallas needed something.
Number
if it
two.
doesn't work, at the very least, they could figure it out from there. They didn't give up a whole lot to go get him.
Number 5.
4.5 coming here. Rockstar.
Number 4. Number 5.
I like that.
Points.
I like that.
Rockstar Games, they released their second trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. Context clues have all told us the game map will be based on the state of Florida. Coming out next year in May. Mike, you're a video game
Big
guy.
time.
Colin, you're not a video game guy.
I did play GTA 5, though.
Very, very familiar with the situation, by the way, you're talking about here, Christian.
So, Colin, my question for you is, the fact that GTA 6 is going to be based on Florida, are you going to buy this game?
Yeah, that's probably the game that'll get me out of retirement.
Okay. He said out of retirement. This is only going to be on next-gen consoles like the
That's
Xbox Series
problematic.
X.
Yeah, that's next year's problem. That's next year's problem.
You're at okay.
Yeah.
You had to spend $3.50, 3 fish, 4 fish.
When you go to the bargaining table, it's got to be a factor.
Yeah. But
that's
I'll find you.
That's next year's problem.
Listen, I know where to find these things. I'll find you a great machine and a deal.
Where do you find them?
Trust me.
Black market.
Just trust me.
He knows a guy.
Christian
fell off a truck.
Can I have a quick take here on this? I have a real problem with how they did this. So
did what?
They told us it's a year away, and they didn't give us any gameplay. Like, okay, we've been waiting for this game since 2013. Christian, what year is it?
2025.
Okay, so when the last GTA game was a thing, Mike Rizzo was 19, 18 years old. I've been waiting since I was 18. I'm 30. And they had the audacity to go, hey, this isn't available until next year. We've given you no information when this game is coming out. It's not like you've been waiting 12 years to play this online with your friends and start your own gang or anything like you did 12 years ago and had so much fun with. We're not going to show you any gameplay, but here's a trailer. They could go to hell. I can't believe
you're going to buy that. You're going to be waiting in that line like everybody else.
Colin, Christian, you there? Not only am I going to buy the game, I'm going to get the Bunderdoo with the poster and the whole 9 yards. Doesn't mean I can't be upset that after 12 years of seeing nothing, they go, we know you guys want to play this real bad, but oh, wait, it's a year away. We're not going to give you when that year when it's going to drop, and we're not going to give you any gameplay.
It's next May, right?
But here's a trailer.
Did they say next May?
Yes.
Here's a trailer. Yeah, forgive me for thinking that it won't be next May when that game comes out.
They're pretty good about that.
No, they're not. Stop it, Kyle. I know this stuff. They're so phony on these release days. I guarantee you this will get pushed back to like August.
Can a video game character be hot?
Oh, yeah. This character's hot.
Yeah.
All right. She's hot, dude.
People
Call
are
a spade a spade,
People
mate.
are fawning over Luthia.
God. Can't wait to play. Now, I race through it. You guys probably play for the story mode. I'm racing through the story mode so I can start building my enterprise online. Dude, GTA Online is so much fun. And that's why they haven't released the Game Boys, is because GTA 5...
it's a cash cow.
It's been such a success online. And my buddies and I have been, like we said, I haven't played GTA in like 2 years, but we consistently played for like 10 years online with our own businesses and cars. And it was, you get the deal.
I don't have a video game console. That'll get me out of retirement. I'll play that game. That game will be fun.
Do you use the cheat codes? Up, down, left, right bumper, left bumper to get free money?
Not necessarily cheat codes online, because if there's a bug, they're going to update the game and fix it so you can't exploit it. But there's plenty of ways to spend $5 on the DLC or the content they drop and be able to get a ton of money, cool cars and stuff. And granted, thank God I'm 30 years old and I can afford $5 DLC.
You know, I was going to say that growing up, like playing Call of Duty, you would see those bundles or whatever get sold at GameStop. And like, who like spends $300 on a single video game? Because the game is like $60. So wait a second, when you're an adult, $300. It's a lot smaller price to pay than when you're 14 years old.
No, it's not $300. But it's like $100. Like
$300
the Bunder,
you get a full ghillie suit.
Christian, the Bunderdo that I call it.
That's a real thing.
It's not. It's what I say. What I call it. So it comes from the South Park episode where it was a battle of the consoles, and Sony it said they were coming out with the Bunderdo. The Bunderdo on games. Usually like $120.
Gotcha.
You know, it's like a $70 game. You're usually paying $50 for the extra DLC. But with Assassin's Creed that just came out, like I get all the DLCs for getting the Bunderdo. I don't have to pay for the DLCs when they drop.
That's
Number 5.
That's a Bunderdo.
That's a Bunderdo.
This was interesting today because a long streak was broken. On Mad Dog Sports Radio, take a listen to this reaction to Sovereignty not racing in the Preakness.
Okay.
This is not a regular season game, Artie. This is the excuse me. This is the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay? This is the conference final on at the Preakness.
Accidentally dropping 3/4 of an F-bomb on Sirius XM.
He doesn't do that.
It's not FCC regulated. He's allowed to do that. It's his rules that are in place to not curse on the radio station.
I don't have a problem with that. He's upset about it. He likes the horses.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. Well, he has a problem with Sovereignty, who's not going to race, who just won the Kentucky
He's not
Derby.
going for the Triple Crown.
He's openly not going for the Triple Crown, which is the dumbest thing in the world.
Agreed.
If you're trying to get people, 20 million people watch the Kentucky Derby. If you're trying to get people to watch it, you're going to have your prize-winning horse that is trying to make some history not run because what? And he's going to be good for the Belmont? That's the dumbest thing in the world. I completely agree with him. But that's interesting. I didn't notice that he did that. Wow, he doesn't do that ever. He doesn't. It's a self-control thing for him. He prides himself on it.
Are you boys familiar with this situation? Like, why is he racing? The Belmont's the last one, right?
They don't think the horse can get ready because of the training. They don't think the horse will be ready.
The horse has no killer instinct. I'm going to attack the horse on this. It's not a jockey, not an owner decision. It's a horse.
He doesn't have that Mamba mentality.
They said we want to do what's best for the horse. What do you mean what's best for the horse? What's best for the horse is what's best for everybody is to run. Get him out there. He's not going to die. Come on, get him out
Christian, there. He's folds in a big spot.
That's bad. I don't understand that.
I understand it. I understand the Kentucky Derby was a big spot. Colin, what's the next race called?
Preakness.
Preakness is a different animal. All right, we all know, man. Comparatively to the Kentucky Derby, this horse does not have the right mindset to compete at the Preakness.
Like the funny part is, the Belmont is 1 month from today. It is June 7th. He's going to be good for that, but he's not going to be good for the Preakness, which is in a week and a half. Really? I agree with that. That is stupid.
Is the Belmont more prestigious, boys?
It's the third jewel. It's a bigger race, but still, if you won the first one in the Kentucky Derby, you want to go for the Triple Crown. That is the crown jewel. And it makes it interesting, and it adds a little bit of
Who is the last one to win the Triple Crown? American Pharoah?
No, Justify. Justify won it in 2018. Completely forgotten about because Pharoah was the first one to do it in Secretariat.
I see.
Imagine being Justify. Yeah, nobody even remembers Justify.
Listen to me.
Second man on the moon.
Yeah, right. It's Buzz Aldrin. People forget about Buzz. They love Neil. They forget about Buzz. That's tricky. And that's a bad spot with a photographer. I don't even remember his name. Like Michael White, the third guy on that mission. Because people know Buzz Aldrin.
I thought you were talking about the Triple Crown.
By the way, about the other guy on the moon.
By the way, it's funny. I checked the family group text, and they were complaining about the horses. My dad and all of his boys. Like, it must be that generation, the horse race. Our
I
dads
like the
are
horse
the same.
racing.
Our dads are the same age.
Racing. I get into the horse race.
Christian. Again, they could.
You're not upset that Sovereign. That
my
is
brother,
stupid. That is objectively stupid.
To Colin's point, my brother's a fellow millennial like me. He gets into it. My sister, she gets into it because everyone else is. She's kind of that. But me, man,
no,
I can't pretend to be a horse guy.
It's cool to go to the track.
I like riding horses.
Really?
Yeah,
like
dude.
This like a weekend thing?
Cousin Michael, grew up in Colorado. In Vail, Uncle Mark had a ranch with like 30 horses, dude.
Click your heels on the side?
Yeah, dude, no. I went on an 8-hour horse trail, and I rode a horse for 8 hours. When I was like 15, it was an awesome experience.
Hour 3, I'm like, all right.
I mean, trust me, my butt hurt.
45 minutes in.
Dude, my 8 hours, boys. 8 hours from like 7 to do the math.
Ridden a pony once, Sunday school.
But comparatively, this was in Vail, Colorado. and we braked, we ate lunch. Guys, 8 hours in the mountains on a trail in Vail in the middle of summer, pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Pretty
cool.
On like an ATV too, though.
How do you guys not think about it? If the whole intrigue is whoever wins the Derby, all of a sudden there's all right, can they do it? Can they do it? Can they do it? And that makes the other races therefore more interesting when somebody's trying to go 3 for 3.
So the whole horse season is ruined.
Not necessarily. It doesn't determine a bad or a good horse season because of one winning the Triple Crown.
But there's the Triple Crown.
But they didn't even give an answer, and they're just like, we respect the decision. It was Mike Rogers, one of the VPs of the whole horse racing thing, said that, and he's like, yeah, we want to do what's best for the horse. Well, how do you know what's best for the horse? Is the horse hurt? The horse looked fine. The horse just won the race. Is he hurt? I don't understand.
So he's not going for the Bunderdo. He's not going for the whole thing. He's just punting. He's not going for the Bunderdo.
But he said they'll race for Belmont. So if they get 2 out of 3, how would you feel if you get 2 out of 3 and you missed openly the Preakness?
It's a joke.
How would you miss
that? I'm with the dog.
Because then he can say, listen, and the whole idea is to get money out of these horses. That's the whole idea. Because the second they do it when they're 2 and 3 years old, and then you get them to breed for 20 years, and then they make a boatload of money off of it. That's where it gets tricky. I do not understand why this horse is missing this, unless this horse is really hurt. If the horse is really hurt, then the horse should not be running Belmont. That's the bottom line. Taking a timeout, we'll close out the program next. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
Progressive knows there are 2 things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Shot, I know you be hearing this and that from here and there, but please trust and believe, little mama. I see you gon' ride for me, so I'ma die for you. Is you with me?
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
888-760-3776. Number to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo on a midweek edition, May the 7th, 2025. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Big Nick game tonight. Can they match the intensity for the second game in a row, similar to what the Pacers did? Can they steal another game in Boston? It remains to be seen. We'll go to Cologne in New Jersey on Russo and Rizzo. Cologne, welcome into the program. What do you got for us?
What's going on, Cologne?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Yeah, tonight's game, listen, the last 2 games of the Celtics and the Knicks, both games have gone into overtime. And the fourth game at Madison Square Garden, Kristaps is the one that had a big game with 34 points, and Tatum in overtime bailed them out with a lead to win the game. So if this game is close again down the stretch, this series could be competitive. It's not an outlier anymore if this game is close on the stretch.
Do you think
Do you
think the Knicks are going to win the series, Cologne?
Listen, if no Kristaps, they have a good chance. Kristaps in it, I think he is the X factor for the Celtics. Also on Minnesota. Last year, I was very down on Minnesota after they beat Denver. You know, they were favored to beat Dallas to go to the final. They almost got swept. They won that fourth game, and they acted like they were happy not to get swept, and they didn't show up for Game 5. All right? This series is big for Minnesota. Let me see what they have, because if they lose to Golden State or go down, because Anthony Edwards, I'm a big fan. He doesn't want to be the face of the league, he says, and to me, he is the key to the series for Minnesota. The way he goes, they win. So I'm looking for a bounce back for Minnesota. I want to see Minnesota show me what they have.
Appreciate the call, Cologne. Thanks for chiming in. I give Cologne credit there. He's right. Maybe similar to last year, it was a bad matchup, but Minnesota sort of had their Super Bowl when they beat Denver in 7. And then you turn around and have another series, and they garnered the same amount of energy and the urgency. They played really hard for the most part against the Lakers, and they closed them out. Then they sort of, a shorthanded Warrior team, sleep at the wheel a little bit. Maybe there's something to that. Stacking series.
I think Edwards, he touched on Edwards too. I think it's more of him playing bad. Like, I know he had 23 points in the second half, fair play, but like, you got to Finch's point, the head coach called him out after the game. Completely agree.
More energy out of you.
I completely agree. And he is the leader of the team, right?
Absolutely.
He's the leader. Maybe
granted, they've played well without him in the past. He didn't play well in that Game 5 against the Lakers, so keep that in mind too.
Sure. I still think if Curry can't go for an extended amount of time, if Minnesota can't beat that team, they don't belong in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I completely agree.
They don't belong in the Western Conference.
Yeah, if you can't beat the Warriors without Steph Curry for a large majority of the series, I'd be a little concerned. Let's make some picks here. Let's have some fun. Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run! 22 consecutive wins!
And fade the cooler.
Everything he touched turns to mush. He would go to the racetrack, and the teller would give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet, where Christian, myself, and Mike Rizzo will try to put together a little bit of a streak. Whether losing or winning, the whole idea is to keep your momentum going forward. Myself, my streak was just dead in the water. I had won 4 in a row, I believe, and I had lost my last one. Weirdly enough, I took the Celtics -8 in Game 1 against the Knicks, and I lost that one. So that was a bad one. And Mike, you took a Guardians game.
Got postponed, so got my ticket back. I'm still W3 in the win column.
L6.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
L6.
Remember, he took the Panthers -1.5 on the goal line, correct?
Brutal. No, I took him on the money line.
Just straight money line.
Didn't matter.
Sorry.
That was a bad one.
So, yeah, Panther fans can blame Christian.
It's a bad one?
Boys, can I lead us off here?
Go for it.
I am. So, Colin, you went Celtics the last. I'm going to go with the Celtics tonight at 10.5. I think they.
-10.5.
Yes. I think they have a big statement tonight. Unlike Cleveland, they're healthy. I think Tatum's going to play well. I think Brown's going to play well. And I think they're going to do something that the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference didn't, and that's blow out the team they're clearly better than. Give me the Celtics.
Christian.
I think you should go first.
All right. I'm going to take this Toronto game, and I'm a little split. Toronto is plus 125 in their building, and the Panthers are minus 145. Do I root for the Florida Panthers to flip and get home ice, or do I get Toronto, who I've been riding with the whole postseason, to get me out of this run? I'm thinking I lean Toronto. They're going to be pissed off about Stolarz. They're going to be pissed off at Sam Bennett for the injury, the concussion. Might be a little short-handed, but it's all about energy. It's all about momentum. Give me Maple Leafs plus 125. Christian?
Let's hear it, Christian.
Haven't found a winner in the States. Haven't found a winner in Europe.
Here we go.
So I'm going to Australia. Australian Football League. I like the Collingwood Magpies. They start their game at 6:10 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm going to get it in right now. They're going against the Fremantle Dockers, and I know Collingwood lost their last game against the Geelong Cats 9-87, but I like the mojo Collingwood has going against their matchup against the Dockers. Collingwood minus 105.
He's going with the birds, the Magpies.
There you go.
Pies for short.
That's Christian Cat, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo saying so long. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. right here on ESPN 106.3.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic